Progress, as I've said in many of my talks on this YouTube channel or this, sometimes I get a little bit of like toilet paper stuck in my gristle here. I noticed it on a previous video and I went, shit, I did like a 20-minute video and there's like toilet paper stuck in my, what do you call it, scruff or something. Yeah, there was a little piece of crap there. Yeah, so as I've said many times on my talks, the future, it's not X-rated. That was a song by Matthew Good, and that sounds wonderful. My friend Alex Fairman in Los Angeles thinks that's what the future is. He's working very hard on teaching people how to get their chakras all working, and then he's planning an enormous orgy. That's what he figures is the end all and be all for doing all the work on your chakras, is to get everyone all lined up and then to go at it in a mad frenzy. In the old days, they called it the fuck fest. That's what Alex Fairman wants to do. Good on you, Alex. Am I coming to your fuck festival? No. No, I'm not coming to your fuck festival because I think somehow what am I thinking? Well, my friend Sippy Cup has suggested that it is a lack of intimacy in these gangbang orgies, and that it's just nuts and bolts, and there's no so it's not going to work for me because there's no intimacy, there's no getting to know you. It's, I'm not getting involved with that, but that is just one person's idea of what's coming in the future once you get your chakras all balanced and aligned. Many times I've said the future is a synchronicity and serendipity. And it's a gift economy. In other words, if I'm going to go and help you push your pickup truck because it's stuck in a snowbank, I'm not going to be looking for $20 to help you push your pickup truck. I just so happen to be there. You just so happen to be stuck, and I'm willing to push your truck for you so you get out of the snowdrift. It's my gift to you. No charge. So a whole pile of stuff on planet Earth has got to change because, when I go onto Amazon, they got all kinds of books there that I'm interested in perusing, and I don't want to buy them. I don't want to spend money on these things. I want them for free. And that's the way things will be in the future. Now, with Amazon, it's good because you can go to the Kindle version of the book if it's available and download a free sample. That's awesome. That's one step towards a gift economy. Marketing wise, Amazon figures that if they give you a sample of the book, that, if you like it, you're going to buy the whole book. But the point of the matter is, if everything is done by synchronicity and serendipity, why do you need to throw money and ruin the whole thing? Like by synchronicity and serendipity, someone shows up in my life, but I don't have any money in my wallet today. And this person showed up because I was going to help them, or they were going to help me, or we were going to work on something together. But we've just been blocked. Someone has just thrown up a huge block to us getting on with life because there's a demand for cash money. A quid pro quo. I'm going to help you out, but you're going to give me an IOU that you'll help me out later, which is basically the same thing as money. It's blocking flow. So if you've heard about people being in flow, People in flow, their lives just, everything just fits into perfect place, footstep after footstep. It's just like a beautiful dance. That's flow. But in our world, could the money system work? No. Because some people have got billions and some people are in debt for, I don't know how many people are in debt for billions, but there's quite a few people that are in debt for mortgages and cars. And so getting the people who are in debt to cough up more cash to play the game, the money game, they can't do it. So it's a huge hindrance to us giving to others and receiving from others because we keep saying, but I got to have cash. I got to have cash. I got to have the cash. So it's slow. It's like throwing monkey wrenches into the works. So I don't see the future as X-rated. I see the future without money. And again, the organization of it all is synchronicity and serendipity. And these aren't, they're not dumb things. They're intelligence at work, the intelligence of the universe at work. So, I mean, I've got a huge battle because it's not, I don't have a battle at all. It's just a figure of speech because I am not going to get in touch with 7 billion humans and give them my pitch to get rid of money. It's already in consciousness, this idea of getting off money. And as I say so many times, the excellent roadmap is by Charles Eisenstein. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's one of those words that sounds Germanic, Eisen. But Eisenstein's book, Sacred Economics, has a roadmap to get us off money. And if you go to Amazon, you select Kindle version of the book, you can get a free sample that gives you a really good, enough so you get a good idea of what he's talking about to see that he's not just a bullshitter. It's a really good plan. So, as far as political ways to get ahead, in 5D, if you think somehow we're going to have governments and political things, sorry, you're stuck in 3D. Sorry. There is no government, there is no administration, there are no politicking, there's no elections in 5D. You individually and everyone else individually will be guided by higher consciousness in the grand dance of what goes on here on planet Earth, which frees us up from so much tediousness. Can you imagine how tedious it is to be a cashier? How tedious it is to be a bank teller? Tedious to be so many jobs that have to do with collecting money so that you can get a product. I don't know how to get it through to you. Higher consciousness replaces all of these administrative functions, all of these governing functions where you have to have some president in control of everything. 5D is letting go of control structures. So if you understand we're getting rid of control on the planet, it's the biggest difference between 3D and 5D is control. And if you think I'm wrong, then you need to read the Celestine Prophecy because it's all about control dramas. And James Redfield shows you that people who are at higher consciousness don't control you. So somehow, if you think we're going to have the fifth dimension, but you're still going to have people involved in, politicking and making money and all the other stuff, no, it's not that way. And I don't fault you for feeling this way, because we are evolving to the fifth dimension. And part of the evolving is all of these things have got to come up and be looked at from the perspective of, is this a control structure? Yes or no? Is this controlling behavior? Yes or no? So back to my example of someone stuck, their pickup truck is stuck in a snowbank, and I just so happen to be walking by. Does it mean that I have to help this person with the pickup truck get them out of the snowdrift? No, it doesn't mean that at all. When you have let go of controlling your own body, you'll move your feet, and if your feet bring you over to the truck and your hands go to the back of the truck and you get down and you're ready to push on the truck, then I guess you were given to help this person. But if your feet are walking along and you walk right by this person, I guess it was given for you not to participate in getting this one out of the snowdrift. So you might say, why? Well, you have to get rid of the whys. Higher consciousness is just, it is. It's given by higher consciousness for this. And in 4D, this is the transition point where you have your rational mind always asking, why? And the problem with the rational mind is that it calibrates maximum at 499 on the scale of human consciousness. Higher consciousness starts above 500, and it keeps going up. So it's highly annoying to hear the rational mind chirping. I didn't like that. I didn't like what higher wisdom gave you to do. And it starts chirping and saying, why did you do that? I need to know. I need to know. And that's all that happens all day long, is you have the rational mind going, why? Something's wrong. I don't like it. I'm a stupid shit. But that's 4D. 4D is the transition between your rational mindedness, in other words, what's in it for me, and the fifth dimension, which is, let's celebrate being us. So if higher wisdom was going to talk to the rational mind about why you didn't help that pickup truck driver, higher consciousness is going to have to spin a story. They're going to have to say, I have to keep you on a timetable because I've got something else that I need you to do. And I don't want you spending any time at all on helping this guy with the pickup truck. Someone else is going to help. And don't worry if this guy's got to wait for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour. It's not your job, because higher consciousness has decided the dance of you is not being involved with pushing this guy's truck. And your rational mind is going to have to accept that. Otherwise, it's going to be constantly talking. Yap. Why? And it already doesn't have a say. The rational mind, up to 499, doesn't have a say once you let go. When you let go of the reins of control of your body, higher consciousness takes it up and runs it. But your old ego mind maxes out at 499 on the scale of consciousness, is butthurt about it. Butthurt means it feels like in Star Trek, the original series, The Ultimate Computer episode, it was a computer that took over the jobs of all the humans on the Starship Enterprise. And someone said to Captain Kirk, they called him Captain Dunsel. And Captain Kirk was bemused and looked at Spock and said, why did that guy call me Captain Dunsel? And Mr. Spock said, Captain, it's a midshipman's term, and it means a useless object. The man just called you, Captain Kirk, a useless object because you're not needed, because the ultimate computer M5 does your job and all the rest of the crew's job. You're not needed on the starship anymore, Captain Dunsel. A midshipman is I think it's like a low-ranked officer. It's, like a second lieutenant or something. So that's what happens with your rational mind. The rational mind, if you were using the rational mind, you might do things like the Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was a famous American who, in his day, was considered a pretty wise fellow. But he used his rational mind. And what he did is he got a piece of paper and he had do this. And then he would write down pros and cons. And he would write them all down. And then he would look at the list of pros and cons. And he would use his rational mind to say, okay, we're going with this or we're not. But that's rationality. Higher consciousness doesn't do this. It doesn't do this pros and cons thing because it's a knower. It's super consciousness. Super consciousness knows everything. Everything, everything, everything. So it doesn't have to do pros and cons to make a decision. Super consciousness knows everything, and it knows to organize the dance of the humans. The dance of the humans and the birds and the animals. The whole dance organized by super consciousness. This is a book by J. Donald Walters, who was a student of Yogananda, the yogi, autobiography of a yogi. And what it says here is open the doors to tranquility, renewal, inspiration, creativity, healing, and revelation. Revelation is how superconsciousness gives you information. It reveals it to you. Versus you and lower states of consciousness, how do you get information? A lot of trial and error. Thomas Edison, when he was making the incandescent light bulb, had to go through 1,000 different filaments to find the right one that would make the incandescent bulb work. Trial and error. That is how a lower form of consciousness figures things out. But superconsciousness knows. It is the guiding hand. And basically what you're supposed to do when you read J. Donald Walters' book on superconsciousness is connect up to the superconsciousness so that the superconsciousness can run you without an ego in the middle. And, the ego is tied to the rational mind, and it's primarily looking out for your body to make sure that your body is looked after, and that's what it does all the time. But once you hook up to superconsciousness, the rational mind has got to step down from its role of being, the busybody in your life. And then what is it supposed to do? Is it supposed to dissolve? The answer is it's part of your personality, and you get to keep it. When will it be used? Maybe for entertainment purposes. If you're in 4D, where you're transitioning from 3D to 5D, You might use the rational mind to help illustrate a point like what I'm doing today. You know, what a rational minded person would do, the Ben Franklin pros and cons. So that someone else can go, okay, that's 3D, and the 5D way of getting around is superconsciousness. How do you get to superconsciousness? How do you connect up to it? It's a letting go process. It's completely letting go of dependence on your rational mind. So for me, what I did is I did muscle testing. I muscle tested everything. I'd go to the grocery store and I'd walk down the aisles and I'd look at different things that were available to buy, and I would muscle test. Am I going to eat this tonight? I wouldn't buy too much in advance. I didn't buy huge amounts. I pretty much went to the grocery store every day, and I just muscle tested to see, am I buying oatmeal today? Am I buying orange juice today? And I would get a yes or no. I spent an awful long time using muscle testing to get a yes or no from superconsciousness. Superconsciousness comes through with muscle testing. Muscle testing is sometimes used by chiropractors to see if you have an allergy. But I did it for everything because in Power versus Force, Dr. David R. Hawkins' book about developing higher consciousness, he used muscle testing. So I used it, and a lot of people thought that I was really weird and crazy because I muscle tested everything. It drove people nuts. But these were 3D people that didn't understand that on my enlightenment journey, I had to have something that was superior to the rational mind. And this is what I was given to do. And for the rest of them, they were left in the dust. So I'm now a way shower to help all the rest of you catch up so you can enter the 5th dimension and stop being a stupid shit. Why is it a stupid shit? Because you have to evolve your consciousness. You. You can't expect the school system to evolve your consciousness. You are a person who has free will. And you're not going to evolve your consciousness if you don't actively pursue higher consciousness, enlightenment, super consciousness. If you don't pursue it, you ain't gonna get there. Who else is going to evolve you? You're going to keep recycling, reincarnating on planet Earth or another planet because you didn't evolve yourself the last go round. No one else. I mean, you were evolved enough to get into a physical human body. But now that you're in your mind, it's up to you to do your homework. No one else can do it. The rest of us can, drop hints, plant seeds in your consciousness that this is available. But if you'd rather go and watch a football game on a Sunday rather than picking up a good book, well, the NFL players make millions and millions of dollars to play. And the owner of the team makes millions and millions of dollars from the revenue he gets from people in the stands and people watching on television. What did you, the viewer, get out of watching the football game? You probably got fat because you drank too much beer and you ate too many wings. We waste way too much time watching other people play sports. You would have a better time getting your sports friends together, grabbing a real football, finding an empty field at some high school, and go run around for an hour, throwing the ball around. You'd get exercise. You'd have way more laughs. Who cares about these professional football players? They're nobody to you. They're my hero. No, they're not your hero. Your children are your heroes if you've got children. You're supposed to set an example for them. Do you want to be like Homer Simpson and watch football all the time? You have to work on your own consciousness, which means you have to disconnect from mass media, which is dumbing you down. That is your talk today. I hope you come back for another talk as I egg you on to higher consciousness, and I give you hints and information about how to enrich yourself. It's not just for you, because, there's so many assholes that I run across every week that don't do anything to improve their consciousness, and I'm terribly bored with them. So if you've got an advancing personality, if you're pursuing higher consciousness, you're a much more interesting person for me to meet. So it is about me encouraging all the rest of you to become more creative, more interesting, more fun. A lot of people my age are really not fun to me. But to them and their friends in 3D, watching football Sunday afternoon, drinking beers and eating wings is the height of enjoyment. I know this. But, if you were doing this 25 years ago and you're still doing it today, do you think your consciousness has progressed at all? You're the same person you were 25 years ago. You wasted 25 years of life. Have you evolved? No. You're a big flunky. F for flunk. So, get off your couch, turn off your television, and don't waste the next 25 years. I'm Harry Weaver for your daily hints and allegations.